dans Shararea.
Good morning, everybody. Hello and welcome to Blackthorn Rambles, Tarot Babble. Where we talk about the tarot, where we talk about, whatever we desire to talk about because it's what we do. Just ramble, blabber on, and hopefully we get something out of it. That's for sure. I hope y'all are doing well and happy Friday. Oh my God, it's Friday, right? It's Friday. I'm pretty sure it's Friday. It's Friday. Yes, happy Friday, everybody. Yeah. So let's just dive in. This is the card that popped up for our conversation today. Oh my gosh. I'm still working on my first cup of coffee. I'm super tired. So that's just what's new. What's new, right? So the card that popped up is the Knight of Swords reversed, and as always, I always say, like, pay attention to like body language, body positioning, or just positioning of like the cards. Well, hello, Dragon Dancer. I hope that your moon trip went well. Welcome. But I always do, because I think people make reversals. Oh, well, get them dishes done. Hey. Gonna have pruny hands. Unless you wash with gloves. Do you wash with, don't type. Just tell me, you can tell me later. If you wash with gloves. I don't think so, because you're typing. So yeah. If you're typing with gloves, that's impressive. Like, washing gloves. Anyways. I think people take reversals and make them out to be so scary, make them out to be like, I can't read reversals, it's just too much to remember, to memorize. Like, you don't have to memorize anything, really. Not when you're properly trained to recognize symbolism. So when you see a reversal, just look at the card. Look at how and compare and contrast. Like, look at how the energy feel the energy. How does it feel? Look at the images. What are they saying? What's the body positioning? All of that stuff, right? All of that stuff. So in the Knight of Swords, like, the first thing that I pay attention to is, like, that horse is giving a side eye. That horse is definitely giving a side eye. Like, are we about to charge into this mess? The horse and the knight are moving from the left to the right. And so we recognize, like, oh, we're going from the past to the future in reverse. And we're trying to, well, morning, Christina. Well, hello, welcome. So it is so weird for me to call you Christina. And you know what? We drove the other day by something, it was like Prairie Gardens or Prairie something. And I'm like, oh. Anyways, so you can see the horse like a side eye, but you see the determined look on the knight, and they're like, let's go. And normally it's like this rush, this like mental clarity where we're charging and we're handling a situation. But in reverse, I feel like it's still like this intense like movement forward, but there's like, that horse is like, are you sure you want to do this? Like, I don't think we're prepared. I don't think we're equipped for this. Like, the wind is pushing us back. We have like the air is pushing us back. So be mindful. So one of the talking points I have is the body language shift in reversal. So in its upright position, the Knight of Swords is known for his fast, assertive actions, usually moving from the right to the left. However, when reversed, his movement shifts from the left, or shifts to the left, not from, to the left to write. Uh, oh my gosh, I just choked on air. So dumb. Um, Introducing a sense of hesitation or uncertainty. This change in direction can indicate a time to reassess our approach, possibly urging us to think before we act or to reconsider our current strategies, which is a really great thing, you know. So it's like, okay, yeah, we're ready to take action, we're ready to move, we're ready to be mindful of that energy, but then we're like, okay, it's reversed, which is maybe take before we take action, let's think this through. Do we have everything we need? Right? Am I mentally prepared to get into this conversation? I was. Am I mentally equipped to handle this experience? Right? Am I able to articulate myself in a very clear manner? So before I actually follow through with something, the Knight of Swords is saying, put yourself in check, right? Get yourself in check, get yourself ready before you start to have a conversation, and then you're like, you put your foot in your mouth and you're just like, hee, you know, not fun, not fun. And so that's something to be aware of when this card pops up. So again, pause before responding in conversations and communications. Practice pausing before you respond, especially in heated or important discussions. This can help avoid misunderstandings and promote more thoughtful interactions. I find it as well really beneficial to pause, because like when you get caught up in conversation and your brain is going and you're like just trying to say all this stuff, and what you say, like what comes out a lot of time, like when I say things, I'm like, there's so much going on in my head, right? There's so many things I want to say, like a jumbled mess comes out and I end up saying like something confusing or something that's wrong, like not, not appropriate, but it wasn't meant to be offensive. It's just things that like you get put together and then that filter is not there and boom, here we go, right? So when the night comes, Knight of Swords in reverse pops up, it's this mindfulness again where whew, let's pause. Let's take a step back. It's okay to go a little slower. We're still going to communicate. We're still going to show up. We're still going to have fun. And I think another thing that is really great by pausing when we're having conversation is that we can let everything that we sort of took in, all the information we took in, all the the things that everyone is saying, right? We can allow that to sort of like fully process in our system, and then give a heartfelt response. Like I will respond because you deserve that response from me, and I want to respond taking in everything you said, right? And so that's one thing about this aspect of the card. So pause before responding. Reevaluate our current actions is another thing. So when facing decisions or projects, take a step back. Again, we can see like take a step back is a very key, like a key theme here. Take a step back to reassess our plans and actions. If we feel rushed or pressured, consider slowing down and reflecting on whether your current path truly aligns with our goals. And so sometimes like we can be in experiences and we're putting that rush on ourselves, no one else is. And it's like, oh, I'm the one rushing this. I'm the one feeling like I have to do it in a certain amount of time. And a lot of times we feel we have to do it before it's due, better than what is expected of us, or asked of us. And we're putting all this pressure on us. And so the Knight of Swords reversed is asking us to just pause a little bit, reevaluate what we're currently doing, take a breather, and be mindful of the action steps that we are taking, and maybe slow it down a little. And then is this what really speaks to me? Is this something that is important to me? Is this really what I want to be doing, right? And we could ask ourselves these questions again, because swords, air, and air reverse, it's giving us this opportunity to maybe perfect or giving us this opportunity to find clarity, right? And so with the Knight of Swords reversed, it's allowing us to say, you know what, this is something I need to be a little more clear on as to what I'd like to do or how I think. consult before acting. Not the another aspect of this part of the card. Uh, if we're unsure about a decision, right, that we're about to make, consult with trusted advisors or friends. Getting this, that's so funny. Getting a second opinion can help you see different perspectives and avoid potential pitfalls of acting hastily. This is actually funny because I'm doing this right now. Like I just invested. I invested into my schooling, right? My education. I was able to pull that off. Well, to pull a loan off, and that has to be paid back. So great, I can handle that. But now I'm like, okay, do I need to invest into getting not like the latest edition, but getting an iPad for myself to be able to actually, because a lot of the training's online. Yes, I'll have books, but I don't know how much is online and how much is in book, right? So I'm like, okay, having an iPad, I'd be able to load the course on and I could like actually zoom in and take notes and all this other stuff just within the iPad, right? And so I'm like, I don't want it to be like a frivolous purchase. I need to make sure that I'm not getting too excited and wanting to get all the things. It would be a good business asset for sure. But like I've been asking like friends, like, ooh, what do you think about this? Like, do you think this is a good idea? Should I do this? Or do you think it's me just rushing into it? I think it'd be beneficial, but like I don't want to just spend when I don't need to, right? And it's something that I have always wanted and I was never able to like really invest in, and now I can. Um, so do I do that or not? So that's kind of like the Knight of Swords reverse. Consult before acting. So if you're not quite sure. It's like you know yourself well enough where you kind of rush into things maybe, and you want to be more thoughtful and considerate of your atmosphere, your environment, your budget, and then you know let me ask trusted advisors, let me ask friends or people who have been through maybe this course like this or schooling like this, and did this did this thing help you, stuff like that. So consult before taking action, and then take a step back, take a breather, and see what feels right, see what the best choice for you is. So another aspect of this card is the elemental influence of air. The Knight of Swords is deeply, absolutely connected to the element of air, which governs intellect, communication, conflict. It's our mental processing, mental health, our thoughts, the programming. Another thing like associated with air element is like when we're brought up, we're raised, like societal programming, like societal projections as well as familial projections. Some people are raised in the church, so the churchy shit projections, no offense, but like all those things that go into shaping and forming what we actually believe. So a lot of that is associated with the air element. So as we explore this reversed right energy, we do reflect on how the qualities of air, clarity, challenge, and intellect are impacted. The reversal might suggest a blockage or a need for a different perspective in how we handle communication and thought processes. I will say this is something that's kind of like popping into my mind right now that I feel like I have to share. Mental health is so important. Taking care of yourself is so important, but it's also taking care of yourself. It's so vital to know when to ask for help and allowing other people to show up for ourselves. Please be mindful that when we get into a funk, and that could be to different degrees of intensity, severity, right? When we get into like mental spaces that are not healthy for us, that are not great for us, we're not the best, obviously we're not the best judge of our programming. And so sometimes it's important where we can actually have an outside source to help us navigate this programming and to help us usher in better thought programs or better beliefs and better systems to slowly take over this outdated programming. And I think that's something important that we need to be mindful of with the Knight of Swords reverse. Like, my headspace might not be the best place right now. I understand that, and I need to work. I need to figure out the right way for me to work through my beliefs or whatever I'm going through. And there's no shame. Like, there is no shame in struggle. There is no shame in depression. There is no shame in PTSD. There is no shame in anxiety. There's no shame in trauma. There's no shame in any of that. We all have, and we're not comparing each other's shit either. We all have different things that we go through, and we should hold space for that. My pain is not worse than your pain, and I do not minimize your pain or what you're going through. You know what I mean? And I think it's so important with the Knight of Swords reverse to be so tuned into this, understanding that our headspace is so it's something we should care for, and understanding maybe some of the thoughts we're thinking right now are not really thoughts that are going to help us. Yeah, yeah. And I think, something that I've had to learn lately too, or learn as I get older, is when someone tries to relate, they're not like, it bothers me when someone tries to say that their trauma is worse. But when, you know what I mean? Like, let me know if I'm making sense. But there are people who they're using their own vocabulary and what they have, and they're really not trying to say their trauma is worse, and they're not really trying to minimize your trauma. They just don't know the right words to use. Oh yeah, I've we all get depressed. No, some people actually suffer, like severely suffer from depression. We don't necessarily all get depressed. We might get somber, we might get sad, but like there's different various levels of depression, right? So we don't all get that. And to say that is so, I don't know. It's a problematic, I feel, but I also hold space because I recognize people just don't know the language. They don't have the tools until they do. And so I feel with the Knight of Swords reverse, it's also this grace, right? Where we have to take a step back and realize, like, okay, I'm not going to allow an outside words to put me into a position where I feel worse, because I recognize they're trying. You know what I mean? Some people really are trying. They just don't, they're not having the best day, right? And so sometimes there's that grace there. Um, but I do find this is something maybe we're blocked on. There might be a mental block. It could be writer's block. It could be like, I have thoughts that are coming up that are holding me back from experiencing certain things, and maybe I need to address those. I don't have to do it alone, but I can take a step back, I can breathe, and I can focus on what's popping up. What am I saying to myself? What is this negative self-talk, right? Where does it come from? Can I get to the core of it? And then I don't try to just erase it, not negating that experience, but I'm understanding it. And so let me start to think about, like, okay, this is what I'm working with here. But what would be a thought that I would like to reach for that would replace this, that would feel better? And then let me start maybe like thinking that thought, surrounding myself like with posting notes that has that thought on it. And so like every morning it's on whatever, I don't know, the first thing you see in the morning, put a posting note on that, and then pick that posting note up and be like, oh yes. And don't leave it. This is probably waste, so if you don't want to waste, I don't know, but to me, I wouldn't leave that posting note. I would take it, and then maybe I would burn it, if I can, and then write it out again and place it on the same place. So like when I wake up every morning, it's like boom, here's that fresh one. And every morning I burn it, have a little ritual, and I write it again. So I'm putting myself in this sort of routine and this ritual energy to start implementing a new pattern, a new belief to help usher in a better thought for myself that I would like to have. Does that make sense? And so That's just some stuff about that aspect of the card. Practicing mindful breathing is really good here, especially when we're talking about like thought programs and projections and beliefs and all this other stuff, you know. So air is associated with our breath and mental activity. So practicing mindful breathing techniques can help calm the mind, improve concentration, and reduce stress, aligning your mental state or our mental state with the clear energy of air. Oh, there you go. Glass markers and a mirror is great for that as well. I like that. Yes. There you go. That works. See? Thank you. But yeah, mindful breathing, focusing on your breath. Like when you get into a space and it's like, okay, I have tools, I can mindfully breathe, and maybe that will help, maybe it won't, but at least let me try it for a little bit. Let me focus on my breath work, let me focus on, all those things. So there's one aspect of this card to work with. Clarify thoughts through writing. Um, this is important. Use journaling or other forms of writing to clarify your thoughts. Writing down what you are thinking can help sort through confusion and find clarity, making it easier to communicate your ideas effectively. And so I feel like this is really good. Even if you like you can type it out if you'd like, or write it out, or even use like a voice recorder, record yourself, like kind of expressing what you're going through, but like with the sort of the end goal to find some sort of clarity, to sort of like feel better, and to unload this and let yourself sort of like work through. So journaling, uh, and just like, this is what I'm thinking, this is what I'm going through, these are the thoughts that I have, this is the foundation of them, this is where it's coming from. And then when you do that, also like with intention, this is where I'd like to be, these are the thoughts I'd like to have, this is the space that I'd like to be in. And then maybe like, I wonder how I can get there, this is how I think I might be able to get there, I can start doing this maybe ever so often to start implementing new thoughts and better thoughts. And then when I feel like I'm getting like I'm about to have like a mental episode for myself, whatever that means, however it looks for you, I can like we can recognize those markers or those guideposts, and be like, okay, I feel something coming on. And so let me go through my journal or whatever. So last time I started doing this and this helped me. So I'm going to start implementing my mindful breathing. I'm going to start journaling. I'm going to start writing things out, and I'm going to start implementing maybe my affirmations or something else coming up. And give yourself those tools. I had something pop into my head, flying into something with speed and armor, and hope that this will protect you against poor decision. Yeah, yeah. That's perfect. Yeah, absolutely. Because there's that rapidness, there's that armor, um, and you're hoping that it's going to be enough to get you through that situation. And that's why in reverse, like, it's, oh, let's pause, let's reflect, let's take a breather. I have the armor. I have, is it the right armor though? That's something. In reverse, it's like, I have the armor, and that sort of speed is not a kind of sort of, um but like, is it enough to get me through this situation, to protect me? I have to do this, right? So it's like, oh no, I have the sort of, what is it, I have the exterior, right? I have the suit, right? And it looks good and prepared, but all the other stuff, I have the surface level stuff done. Or the cosmetics, that's what I was trying to say. I have the cosmetics part done and down, but the other stuff not so much. So we have, this is perfect. Then we take a look, okay, well, what else do I need to get done to make sure that, I handle this situation appropriately? Engage in constructive debates. Use your communication skills to engage in constructive debates rather than confrontations. Focus on listening and understanding the other side, which can lead to productive outcomes and clearer understanding. This is really good when the Knight of Swords pops up. Um, Being able to have debate. Like, people always feel attacked lately, and it's like, you don't have to. You can have a conversation, you can disagree. I love debate. And just because we debate doesn't mean that I don't like you. It doesn't mean that we're fighting. It doesn't mean that I'm attacking you. It means that we're going back and forth so we can, like, we're learning something about each other. We're also producing a learning environment, and it's a really great place to be. And I think that with this, it's like, okay, I want to learn more here. I want to show up more. I want to be better here. So let me express myself in a way that I feel is clear and healthy. And let's see what the response is. And so we can kind of take something from that space. The last talking point that I had for this card today is the impact of yeah, it's sort of magical association. So air not only symbolizes the realm of the mind, but also affects our magical practices, particularly in how we use words and intentions to manifest desires. With the Knight of Swords reverse, there could be a warning against miscommunication or misunderstandings, a feeling of restlessness, right? Urging a more cautious approach to how we express and manifest our thoughts. So magically apply. This is just across the board, but like you can magically a magical application. It's like, okay, make sure you're very clear. Make sure, kind of like Mercury retrograde type of energy, right? Make sure you're very clear. Approach this situation with a little caution because it can get be out of hand or taken out of context. So there's that type of energy again, restlessness, not really focused, not able to focus, burnout, too impulsive, right? There's no direction here, like just going. And so that's something else that we can see within this card. um to review and refine goals. Regularly review and refine our goals and intentions to ensure they are aligned with what we truly want to achieve. This has come up a lot lately. This can prevent us from pursuing paths that no longer serve us due to miscommunication or unclear thinking. Excuse me. So with this, it's like, oh, I again, like what Christina said about the armor and the speed of the card and protecting us against poor decisions and lack of planning. It's kind of like that. It's like, hey, we have the armor, we have the momentum, but then like, what are we charging into? Old, outdated pathways, old, outdated things we don't want anymore. Well, hello, Angie. Good to see ya. And so with the Knight of Swords, it's asking us to be again very mindful, very invested in how we approach our goals, how we approach what we want to achieve, reassessing them ever so often and seeing like, oh, is this what I really want still? Is this what I'm still working towards? Is this important to me? If it's not, then let's clear it out. It has to go, right? Be intentional with your words. Recognize the power of words as magical tools. Speak intentionally, choosing your words carefully to avoid. I'm not going to say negative manifestations, but to avoid manifesting things that you just don't want, right? And to create better outcomes or outcomes that you want in your personal and professional lives. So that's another thing with the Knight of Swords is like, oh, be very mindful of how you communicate and understand that right now is a very powerful time to express yourself and be clear and state your intentions, but don't focus on what you don't want. Focus on the solution. Make sure to usher in, the supporting energy to make your claim on what you desire. You could also use affirmations for clarity. So employ affirmations to reinforce clear thinking and effective communication. Affirmations like I communicate clearly and effectively, or my thoughts are organized and purposeful, can help harness the positive aspects of air and mitigate the reversal effects of the Knight of Swords. And so you can see all of this energy working together, where it's very air-like and it's very night-like. Boom, let's do this. But let's be aware. Let's be discerning. Let's take a breather. Let's take a step back. Let's make sure that we know what we're getting into. So maybe this is something that we can, think about, like, At a surface level, I'm ready, but at a deeper level, I'm not prepared. Where in my life is that true? Where in my situation is that true? On a surface level, on a front, I am prepared. But when we dig deep, on a deeper level, um, it's a shit show. I'm not ready. What is it? And how can we mitigate that? How can we build something to be better for ourselves? So, with that being said, y'all, thank you so much. I do appreciate you. Um, if you have any last minute thoughts, questions, concerns, let me know. Sorry, I'm editing something really quick. I think it's June 2nd. Let me know if you have any last minute thoughts, questions, concerns. Thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate y'all. I enjoy doing these. I hope you enjoy them as well. Again, there's just so much to the cards. There's so much to tarot that we can just spend days and days talking about the same card. These are just little aspects of the card where they promote thought, where they promote conversation, where, when you're reading for yourself for someone else, you at least have these little tidbits of information that you can explore. It's not everything. There's so much more. There's so much more. But I hope that you can take something from that. And just to let everyone know, I do have a workshop coming up on June 2nd. And it's all about smoke cleansing. It's going to be so much fun. It's going to be so much. I have so much to share. It's going to be a lot, but it will be on smoke cleansing, and I will have like alternatives. So if you can't smoke cleanse, if you can't burn Palo Santo, frankincense, and myrrh, if you can't burn stuff, I will have ways to still cleanse. And not have to do that. So if you're interested in that, let me know. And yeah, I will talk to you. I will talk to you all Monday, patrons. I will talk to you Sunday if you're there. It's a weekend where it's Memorial Weekend. So for those of you who are doing your things and honoring your peoples, yeah, enjoy. Good luck. I will talk to you Monday or Sunday. Okay. Okay.